today we're going to start building a cool AI driven application. I want to build like a newsreader that looks at RSS feeds and then uses the new Cohere model to do RAG with those articles. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be for beginners. If that sounded totally crazy, don't worry about it because we're going to get into the business. Don't fucking ask me why my webcam is black and white right now. I couldn't tell you. OBS wasn't working, and so I'm using this other thing. And my just webcam's just gonna be black and white today. So strap in. Okay, so this one's gonna be shorter. It's already kind of late, and so what I want to do is just do the RSS parsing. So if you don't know what an RSS feed is, let's see. If you don't know what an RSS feed is, basically this interesting thing that publishers use to like update. When they post a new article, they'll automatically put this inside of their RSS feed. So like you can see, this is one of the latest New York Times articles in the technology. I mean, they had a bunch of them, but we're looking at the technology one. And so this is, today on the East Coast, I guess. So like as recent articles as they post go immediately to the RSS feed. So it's a really good place to kind of scrape for recent articles and know where they are. Okay, so that's the finished version. Okay, so what we want to do today is finish with this output where we go to any of these URLs and then basically get the title and link and date and whatnot of the most recent articles for those RSS feeds. So I just found three of those feeds for tech, so New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and NPR. And so we want to build essentially a really simple scraper sort of that looks at those RSS feeds, or just RSS subscriber that looks at those feeds. And so we can, in the next video, pass that into the Cohere model so that we can like make a custom newsreader. But first we need to actually get the data that we want to use, so that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so why don't we start up here with the load RSS function. And so that's going to we're going to pass in the URL of the RSS feed, and then we want to do some stuff with it. Okay, so I'm going to try and do this from memory, but there's some Python stuff that, okay, let's just fucking get into it. All right, so we want to essentially, we're already importing requests. It's like the Python library. And then we're going to do, I think it's rec. Isolate. Okay. Of the URL. I think that's just it. And then with the response, we want to do all right, sorry guys. Bam. I don't give a fuck. All right, so we're gonna take the URL, get a response, and then use that response to just write a file to the file system, and then with this name. So what we saw here was the format URL name. And because like we just want to give it like a good URL name, and so because like it's gonna come out in the format of this, right? So looking at this, we just want to like save a nice URL name. So what I did earlier, we can do is just split it based off of the the slashes. So then that's going to give like a list. And so we would take like the second one, because like this is 1 slash, that's 0, 1, and then 2 is this, which seems nice enough. And then I think we should replace the dots with just a whatever that's called, just because I think dot as a file name can cause problems. And then let's also just return the format URL name, like whatever same thing we made here, like just let's return the file name just so that we can use it down here. Okay, slay, that compiled. All right, so now let's go and parse. So so why don't we like test it out? Sorry guys, I haven't used like this Python stuff in a long time. All right, let's just get into it. Okay, so we have the file name, and then so there's this cool thing called element tree, which is like this native XML parser in Python. So usually when you think of scraping, you'd use something like Beautiful Soup or whatever, Scrappy. But I mean, since like XML is not HTML, you can actually just use an XML parser natively built into Python, which is super cool. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna paste this line and get me going. So this essentially builds a tree of elements in the XML file. So like if you look, like it's RSS, and then everything's under RSS, and then everything's under channel, and then here's some metadata, but then here's an item, is a list of items, right? So these are children elements of channel, and then inside item is these children elements. So it lets you just build like a tree, or like kind of like a DOM automatically, which is dope. Okay, so in order to use the tree, you have to like get the root. Don't ask me why. And then so we want to get the articles. And so they have this thing called find all. And so in here, like these all have like here's the item, title, link. And so we want to find all of the items, because every item is like its own article, right? Like here's the title of the article, the link, and whatnot. And so we want to grab all of the items, just kind of like grabbing all of the titles. So once we get all of the articles, why don't we print articles and see if it works? Nice. Okay, so you can see we've just grabbed all of the items. It doesn't print very well because it's just a element item, but like it's working. Okay, so let's see. So let's loop through those articles, because we want to essentially build up a list of all these articles, but we need to do it in a way that we can pass them into our LLM. So we need to like kind of extract them from the XML right now. So that means we need to define the class of article. Okay. So because like I want to be essentially like, so the title would be like, oops, something like that, I think, and then, oh fuck. All right, we're just gonna copy that. All right. So then, but we want to make an article with all those things. And then save it into this big list we're compiling that we're eventually going to pass in. So yeah, that's why you can just append it at the end. Yeah, okay, and then at the end of this, we can return the article list. Okay, so then now let's actually get the article initializer going. Okay, so, oh yeah, T, D, D, link. Okay, this is just sort of by, like you guys get what I'm doing here. Oh fuck. All right, okay, so then now like we can actually define these article objects. So then this is a list of article objects, and then we can actually use them in sort of a, you don't have to do this at all, but this kind of lets us do it in a more easy way. Okay, so now we have a list of article objects, and we're like basically done. If you wanted to make this a little bit nicer, you could like do a repr method to make it print nicer. And if you don't know what that is, like that, you just essentially return a string, and so anytime you're printing like something, when you're printing an object, an instance of a class, then it's printing that string, and so we just kind of format this string this way, and it could look however you want, and then bam, there we go. So now we have a list of articles, and this can work for any RSS feed. So now you can think like, all right, next step is to bring in the Cohere SDK and then use that to essentially look at those RSS feeds and summarize it to make my nice little newsreader. So that is what we're going to do tomorrow. Faux show. Appreciate you sticking around. Hope you learned something. That was a good one. All right, see you, Mo.